From Daily Trust News Center, this is the news.
Tonight on News Hour, Kaduna residents call for resumption of train services 7 months after suspension. Customs sack 2,000 corrupt officers as service fails to meet revenue target. Police fire tear gas at Lekki EndSARS anniversary procession in Lagos. Away from Nigeria, UK Prime Minister Liz Truss resigns after 6 weeks as party chooses October 28th to pick next Prime Minister. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. The news in details now. Residents of Kaduna are urging the federal government to expedite action on the resumption of service on the Abuja-Kaduna train route. The residents made the call when Trust TV visited the Kaduna train station in Rigasa. They also urged the federal government to put proactive measures in place to prevent insecurity on the railway lines, as Bello Musa now reports.
The Kaduna-Abuja train services were the delight of many passengers, and it became a key cross-regional pathway ferrying both goods and people. Many Nigerians opted for train services due to insecurity on the highway. Although the highway was not abandoned by travelers, the alternative train services brought a measure of relief to those who journeyed through the route until March 28, when bandits attacked Kaduna-Abuja train and kidnapped 61 passengers. Since the attack, the Nigerian Railway Corporation suspended operations on the route. The Kaduna train station was a beehive of activities, but a visit to the train station looks deserted, with many business crippled. With the remaining hostages of train attack released, train passengers, business owners and taxi drivers at Rigasa train station are urging the federal government to reopen the train station. We believe it is from God, but we are in difficult situation, and we pray for the resumption of the train service. We cannot quantify the losses we incurred here due to suspension of train services. We have been living in a difficult situation. Rabi Armayao used to travel by train. She narrates her ordeal due to the absence of train services.
So a lot of people are finding it difficult in terms of traveling, because it's not everyone that can afford to travel by air. And going by road is another difficult thing. One has to start thinking of what will happen on the road.
Dr. Awal Abdullahi, a security expert, says the 718 million naira surveillance contract by the federal government is a right step in the right direction.
Yes, it is a step in the right direction. I recall that the former Minister of Aviation, Rotimi Amechi, lamented seriously over this rail line surveillance contract that was supposed to have been on place for long, but due to some technicalities which was not too necessary, it was not put in place, and then what happened. First and foremost, the world over, rail lines are safeguarded.
He also suggests measures that need to be taken to avert a recurrence of such attack.
I know that there's infrared cameras that is connected to the satellite. That is the easiest way to reach out and also sight a common object 200 meters, 300 meters away from it. Then you have the drones, which can be put on run, and with some at the substations of the train station, you can create a security coalition room where you have the cameras that will be monitoring either the drones or the infrared security circuit. But
as Nigerians await the resumption of the Kaduna-Abuja train service, many are hopeful that adequate security measures will be in place to guarantee the security of lives and property. From Kaduna, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV.
Nigeria Customs Service may struggle to meet its revenue target of 3.019 trillion naira for the 2022 fiscal year. The Controller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali, admitted this on Thursday while speaking with journalists at the State House in Abuja. He disclosed that over 2,000 officers have been dismissed for one form of misconduct and complicity or the other since he took over as the head of the service. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The federal government depends heavily on remittances from the Nigeria Customs Service to meet up its budgetary obligations. Over the years, the service has consistently met and surpassed its targets by blocking leakages and fine-tuning its delivery process. But this year, it seems, the NCS may struggle to meet its target of 3.019 trillion naira because of the delay in the collection of some tariffs which were recently resolved in favor of the service. These include the telecommunications tariff and the carbonated drinks tax. The custom boss explains that the 3.019 trillion naira target was set based on the assumption that the service would commence the collection of these taxes from the beginning of the year.
The speed at which we block this, that will increase our revenue generation from time to time. And that's why we move from 876 billion in a year to today, as at the last collection, we are at 2 trillion 130 something billion. So we're working, hopefully we will meet the target of 3.019.
A key component in making the service more efficient is its getting rid of corrupt officials.
7 years, we have sacked more officers than Customs has ever done, because we dismiss them. And if you are involved in the criminal aspect of a thing, then after dismissal, we make sure that we prosecute you. We take you to court and we'll get you prosecuted and jailed. So we're taking all the steps necessary to make sure that we enforce the laws and make sure that we deter people from committing these vices.
Another component of improving services of the Nigerian Customs Service is limiting human interactions by automating its operations. If it is able to attain this objective, the Controller General projects that the service will realize at least $17.6 billion annually. But that milestone is still a few years away, and attaining it would cost government $3.5 billion. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Policemen on Thursday fired tear gas canisters and water cannons to disperse participants at the second memorial of the #EndSARS protest at the Lekki toll gate in Lagos. The youths, led by popular musician Folarin Falana and comedian Adebayo, Mr. Macaroni, had gathered at the Lekki toll gate in commemoration of the second anniversary of the shooting at the plaza, which was the epicenter of the 2022 #EndSARS protest. The report.
In 2020, youths under the #EndSARS movement had taken to the streets to protest against police brutality and call for disbandment of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS, a unit of Nigerian police with a long record of abuse of young citizens. The protest ended on October 20th, 2020, when armed soldiers allegedly opened fire on protesters, resulting in a disputed number of casualties. At the memorial, the protesters, with dummy coffins, blood-stained Nigerian flags, and placards, passed through the Lekki toll gate, chanting solidarity songs in memory of those who were allegedly killed at the scene 2 years ago. Mother of one of the victims of the Lekki shooting, Olabisi Abidin, who was at the procession, narrated her ordeal since the demise of her son.
October 20, 2020 is such a bad day for me. My son, who repairs generators, was participating in the EndSARS protest. He always joined the protest after closing from his place of work. He was there for 3 days and always returned home until October 20, when his corpse was brought home.
Folarin Falana, popularly known as Fowls, who said the walk was in memory of those who died during the 2020 protest, urged them to dump the dummy coffins at the toll gate to pass a symbolic message about the sad event.
I will not be so. But I beg, I don't want to question here. Hold on first. We don't look at anybody make this movement in a political anything. And we don't want DMA, we just block road for everybody. So these coffees over here, we'll carry these coffees, we'll carry them go to these coffees are very symbolic. Now here when they kill our people. So we could bring this coffee for them. So I beg, we'll carry this coffee.
However, security agents fired tear gas canisters as protesters were dumping the dummy coffin at the plaza. Policemen also allegedly harassed journalists, including Eniona Daniel of Guardian newspaper, Oba Adeoye of Arise Television, and Yushau Taiwo of Trust Television. Speaking on the development, the public relations officer of the Lagos State Police Command, SP Benjamin Udenyi, said minimal force was used to disperse the protesters when they started mounting the toll gate complex.
And in the nation's capital, many youths gathered at the Unity Fountain to mark second anniversary of the #EndSARS protest, appealing to other Nigerians to know their fundamental rights. Kabir Lawal attends the event and files in the report.
Hundreds of young Nigerians in 2020 took to street to protest police brutality after a video went viral of a man alleged to be killed by operatives of Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS, sparking what became #EndSARS. The demonstrations rocked the country for 2 weeks and led to the government agreeing to disband SARS and set up judicial panels of inquiry to investigate the widespread allegations of abuse by officers. This year, however, youths in Abuja under the group tagged Take It Back marked this year's EndSARS remembrance low-key.
It is highly important that Nigeria should remember that the same people that are killing you, these are the same people that you want to still vote into power. And many other people who are arrested during the EndSARS are still in prison. Yes. Most of them are still in prison, have not been released. The issue in Nigeria is we don't remember, we don't think. It is that enough is enough, and we have stand up to say enough is enough.
Some youths who spoke to our correspondent said that the youths have to stand up for their rights, adding that it will not be good not to remember those who lost their lives 2 years ago.
Innocent people were just agitating for the betterment of Nigeria. Innocent people that were holding flag for the people that, oh, we want a good Nigeria that will be able to speak for the less privileged. We want a good Nigeria that will be able to agitate for the good people of Nigeria. The government should try as much as possible to protect each and every citizen of Nigeria.
The youth is now looking as if we, the youth, are relaxing, and it's not supposed to be like that. We're supposed to be together and join hands together for a better nation. Expecting that we're supposed to see a lot of crowd here, plenty of crowd, so that we can do our protest in peace and pass out the message we are trying to pass across.
It will be recalled that 7 states did not join the protest: Borno, Jigawa, Kano, Kebbi, Sokoto, Yobe, and Zamfara states, and those where the judicial panels did sit were hit by the prolonged adjournments, with members of the police not showing up when called to give testimony. They were criticized for lack of transparency. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, following the clash between traders and touts at the Alaba International Market, Lagos, that left many injured on Tuesday, Traders Association at the market has called for intervention from local authorities to prevent reoccurrence of the violence triggered by extortion. A statement by the Alaba International Amalgamated Traders Association Council of Sectional Heads said that activities of the touts caused pain and misery on the traders in Alaba International Market. The association said that traders are vacating the market in droves, because complete blockage of the only Alaba road and extortion is becoming unbearable, as traders are made to pay between 70,000 naira and 100,000 naira for a fully cleared container or a truck before they can be allowed to convey their goods to the market. The association appealed for intervention of Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to order the arrest and prosecution of the criminals. The traders also want only Volkswagen bus stop and Chemist bus stop to be designated as toll, calling for reduction in their traders' fees collected from containers, trucks and other vehicle owners. Now to political matters. Wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, has said that she is not sure if the government has met many expectations on the Buhari-led administration. Aisha stated this in an interview with BBC, saying that this is the reason she apologized to Nigerians. Reports quoted Aisha Buhari apologizing to Nigerians about the hardships they are facing during the special prayers she organized on October 1 to celebrate the 62nd anniversary of the country's independence. She said that the expectations on the government were so high, and after 7 years, these expectations are not met. She, however, said that All Progressives Congress will win the next presidential election. Aisha Buhari further said that she did not have any political ambition. The All Progressives Congress in Kaduna State has released the list of the State Campaign Management Council for the 2023 general elections, with a commitment to embark on issue-based campaigns devoid of violence in the coming months. Unveiling the list of members of the Campaign Council at the State Party Secretariat on Thursday, the Kaduna State APC Chairman, Emmanuel Jakada, said that 60% of the members are youth and women, including party officials, senior stakeholders of the party, APC elders and seasoned technocrats that will drive a successful campaign in the months leading to the 2023 election. The Campaign Council has Governor Nasir El-Rufai as chairman, with the Kaduna State APC gubernatorial candidate, Senator Uba Sani, as deputy chairman 1, while the state deputy governor, who doubles as Uba Sani's running mate, Hadiza Balarabe, will serve as the deputy chairman 2. Comprising 22 directorates and 989 members, the Campaign Council also has the Kaduna State APC chairman, Air Commodore Emmanuel Jakada, retired, as the vice chairman 1, while the speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Honorable Yusuf Zailani, is vice chairman 2. A federal high court in Gusau adjourned to October 27th for definite hearing the suit filed by Northern Youth Assembly and others against Governor Bello Muhammad and 3 others for alleged perjury. The group alleged that there were discrepancies in the academic and birth certificates Governor Bello Muhammad presented to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to seek re-election in the 2023 general election. The report.
The case, filed at the Federal High Court, Abuja, was transferred to the Federal High Court, Gusau, the Zamfara State capital. At the resumed hearing of the suit on Wednesday, the presiding judge, Justice Aminu Bappa Aliu, adjourned the case till October 27th for definite hearing. Counsel to the first respondent, Governor Bello Muhammad Shamsuddin, holding brief for Ahmad Raji, SAN, said the first respondent filed a motion of preliminary objection on the matter. He said that the plaintiffs were not known to law, as they were not registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission as required by law.
The parties have filed and exchanged their pleadings, that is the origination summons and the defense on the part of the defendant, which have already filed, and it was served on the plaintiff who is seeking this application, that is Northern Youth Assembly. And we've already filed a notice of no objection that this court doesn't have the jurisdiction to entertain this case. And the case was mentioned, and it was adjourned to 27th of this month for hearing of the application that was filed by the Northern Youth Assembly.
Mr. Misbah Salahuddin, who appeared for the plaintiffs, declined to speak to the press, saying he had no clearance from his client to do so. However, the documents provided by the group as contained in the suit claimed there were 3 different dates of birth submitted on 3 occasions to INEC between 2015 and 2022. The petitioners in the suit claimed that the documents Governor Mohammed presented to INEC for the 2015, 2019 and the 2023 elections regarding his secondary school qualifications were not the same. The plaintiffs therefore prayed the court to declare a case of perjury and non-possession of valid minimum secondary school certificate against the governor. Justice Bappa Aliyu said the court would, on the adjourned date, commence definite hearing of the substantive suit.
At least 28 serving and former state governors are seeking election into the Senate in next year's election. There is, however, growing concern among the citizens on the impact of this development in Nigeria's democratic journey. In this report, Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman examines the positions of two former governors on the impact, cost and reasons behind the interest for the upper legislative chamber by the governors.
There are currently 14 former governors from across the Federation in the Senate taken on the business of lawmaking after serving as chief executive officers of their respective states for 8 years. What could have been the motivation behind this development?
They are always interested in occupying choice committee positions, having the opportunity to embark on the so-called oversight responsibilities, but without doing the real critical responsibilities of senators. I cannot really mention beyond one or two or three of them that has done something outstanding, particularly over and above others who have not been governors.
I had wanted to go back to my normal vocation of real estate development. But once you have become a public officer, you have become a public property. And if your people so wish to ask you to deploy your efforts towards adding value to them, you'll be doing injustice to them if you refuse.
How can I be a governor of 8 years of the state, and then after serving 8 years, and then I'll come back and take 1/3 to say I'm representing them?
While it remains the former governor's political and constitutional rights to seek election into any elective office, excluding the one they once served, there have been growing concerns over their impact at the legislative arms of government in the face of mounting cost of governance.
Most, if not all of them, haven't already conspired to allocate to themselves hefty or humongous amount of money as pension. So they are pensioners being paid heavily by their own states with a lot of perquisites of office.
When one leaves the office of governor, one has garnered a lot of experience, a lot of situations that was not household. Some of them are classified, some of them are opportunistic, some of them are one-off.
Though Nigeria operates a presidential democracy with a bicameral legislature, some are advocating the need to tinker with the current democratic structure with a view to freeing resources that will be channeled to better the well-being of the citizens. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The House of Representatives has commenced an investigation into the regular collapse of the national grid with its attendant power outages across the country. The committee, which commenced the probe with a grilling of some power sector players over the continuous grid collapse in the country, said that since the privatization of the power sector in 2013, Nigeria has witnessed over 100 national grid collapse. The report.
Minister of State for Power, Godi Agba, who appeared before the committee on Thursday, said Nigeria has not experienced national grid collapse, but systems disruption.
Blackout is not a collapse, but blackout can result from collapse as well as disruptions. But this one we have had this year, we've had 4 of them, but they have not been collapsed. Is disruption, and disruptions have been as a result of, there could be human factors, there could be equipment factors, there could be political factors, there could be other factors.
The Executive Secretary, Association of Power Generation Companies, Joy Ogaji, countered the minister's submission, saying that from 2016 to year 2022, Nigeria experienced 136 national grid collapses. The Managing Director, Transmission Company of Nigeria, Sule Abdulaziz, also admitted there was a decline in power supply.
In our jurisdiction, the imperatives of the power transmission network cannot be overemphasized. Transmission network constitutes the vital channels of the entire power value chain, as the growth of the power sector is contingent to development of a robust and a non-collapsible, underline and in quotes, and a non-collapsible transmission grid or network.
TCN, we have a capacity of 8,100 megawatts. At the highest we transmitted was on 1st March last year, where we transmitted 5,801 megawatts.
Earlier, the chairman committee investigating the grid collapse, Magaji Aliyu, assured that the committee is not out to winch out the stakeholders, but to find a lasting solution to the problem. Declaring the investigations open, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, who was represented by Ganiu Johnson, said the hearing is important to Nigerians. A stable power sector is essential for the growth and sustainability of a viable economy.
And for the emphasis, we are not here to find faults. We are here to find solutions. We understand the image of the problems, and we are here to give the required legal backing and assurances of funding to this sector.
A stable power sector is essential for the growth and sustainability of a flourishing national economy. Ensuring stability in the power sector and providing our country's energy needs is a responsibility this government and this House take seriously.
Nigerians are hopeful that the investigation will address issues around the grid collapse and boost power generation.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how ancient crafts fare in digital age. Details of this and more after the break.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Here's a recap of our top stories again. Kaduna residents call for resumption of train services 7 months after suspension. Customs sags 2,000 corrupt officers as service fails to meet revenue target. In other news, troops of Operation Wild Punch of the Nigerian Army have killed 2 armed bandits several kilometers off the Kaduna-Abuja highway in the ongoing campaign of taking the battle to the doorsteps of the bandits. According to operational feedback from the Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Radwan, the troops acting on credible intelligence overpowered the bandits and subsequently destroyed their hideouts while still combing the general area to fish out the remaining bandits. During the operation, the troops also recovered an AK-47 rifle, 2 magazines carrying 38 rounds of ammunition, a cell phone, and 2 corpses of the bandits. In another development, troops of Operation Forest Sanity have rescued 2 kidnapped victims at Rafinkaura community during an emergency response operation in Chikun local government area. According to feedback from security agencies, the troops responded to reports of an attack around Dende Buruku Junction along the Damba Dende Buruku Road, Chikun local government area, and quickly mobilized to the location where they made contact with bandits at Rafinkaura. In a similar vein, over 70 suspected cyber fraudsters have been apprehended by operatives of the International Criminal Police Organization following a coordinated operation which the Interpol said confirmed the global footprint of Nigeria's black acts and similar organized crime groups. In its latest statement regarding the recent crackdown on West African financial crime rings, the Interpol said that the codenamed Operation Jackal, the joint law enforcement effort, mobilized 14 countries across 4 continents in a targeted strike against black acts and related West African criminal organizations. According to the communique, Operation Jackal marked the first time Interpol has coordinated a global operation specifically against black acts, which is rapidly becoming a major security threat worldwide. Black acts and similar groups are responsible for the majority of the world's cyber-enabled financial fraud, as well as many other serious crimes. According to evidence analyzed by the Interpol's Financial Crime and Anti-Corruption Center, the national law enforcement in South Africa alone, the 2 suspects arrested were wanted for online scams that extracted $1.8 million from victims. The International Center for Investigative Reporting, ICRI, and other development partners are engaging policymakers, implementers, health professional associations, and council executives on the need to strengthen primary health care centers at the subnational levels. At a public policy dialogue in Abuja, discussions focused on how best Nigeria can improve health outcomes by using accountability mechanisms built around health systems. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports.
Stakeholders at the event said the public dialogue is timely as the country's primary healthcare system is facing finance and a human resource gap, among other drawbacks, and also experiencing inadequate implementation of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund and the Midwife Service Scheme in some parts of the country.
The states we selected, they all had access to the BHCPF, and there have been improved services in some of those facilities accessing it, but there are so many other challenges, like some facilities that should be accessing it are not accessing it because of operational issues such as not having checkbook, lack of signatories. Another issue that was actually quite common to some extent is a lack of awareness.
The coverage is not yet total, and that is because of the strategy for implementation. The strategy for implementation is actually meant to be gradual, right? And we know that some states are already benefiting, some PHCs are already benefiting. However, what is lacking is seeing that the BHCPF is actually trickled down and is having effect on the people.
We want to see whether this money is being used judiciously as it should be. And if there are issues, what are the things that we need to do to correct how do we audit or ensure that people are doing the right thing?
Key stakeholders at the community levels, such as the Ward Development Councils, have raised recommendations for improved implementation of the BHCPF through measures like the timely release of funds for infrastructure and human capital development, adequate implementation of healthcare programs and medical supplies, integration of all stakeholders in the health budgeting process, synergy of public and private health facilities, among others, to achieve better healthcare service delivery.
For us to achieve our aim here in our primary healthcare facilities, we need to employ more nurses and midwives, professionals that can handle the healthcare of people in these communities. We need to improve in their take-home packages. And we also need to put basic social amenities in those places for them to be able to work there comfortably well.
Training of staff, and there is a certain percentage that goes to midwife recruitment. There are a certain percentage that actually try to take care of infrastructure, that's in terms of repairs and other things like salaries for ad hoc staff, so that to support ad hoc, that's volunteer in these cases, and of course even drugs.
Findings at the public policy dialogue are expected to help address areas needed to be strengthened within the primary healthcare systems. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Delta State Governor and Vice Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Ifeanyi Okowa, has called on the federal government to build new dams and desilt major rivers in the country to check flooding. Okowa made the call when he visited flood victims at some internally displaced persons camps in the state.
During the 2 days tour to the IDP's camps, the Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, urged the federal government to make efforts at desilting River Niger and River Benue to deepen the depths of the rivers to accommodate high volume of flood water. He told journalists in an interview that the best way to end the loss of lives and valuables to flood was for the government to take proactive steps, installing perennial flooding each time neighboring countries opened their dams. While commiserating with the victims' families who lost their lives and property to the flood, the governor said that 5 persons lost their lives, several houses destroyed in various communities, adding that 11 holding camps had been established to take care of those displaced by the flood.
We try to do everything to make them comfortable. I want to use this opportunity to thank all those who have been able to donate food items and other items to the various camps. And I call on all Deltans and even non-Deltans who live in Delta that they should come forth and support. Whatever government is doing is necessary to support them. And I think that there is a need to do that.
At Utaga Ogbe Technical College, Kwale in Unduka West, Alaka Grammar School, Ozoru in Osoko North, St. Michael's College, Ole and Osoko Central School, Ole both in Isoko South local government areas of the state. The governor also called on the federal government, corporate organizations and individuals to come to the aid of victims of flood in the state. He assured that his administration will continue to support them until they are able to return to their homes after the flood crisis. The eternally displaced expressed gratitude for government's support.
At least 14 people are said to have drowned when an overloaded passenger vessel capsized in the Shagari local government area of Sokoto State, a local official said on Thursday, in the nation's latest boat-related accident. The victims, 11 men and 3 women, were traveling from an event marking the birth of Prophet Muhammad on Tuesday when the accident happened. The administrator of Shagari district, Aliu Abubakar Dantani, told AFP that they recovered the bodies of the 14 victims and buried them Wednesday, adding that 10 other passengers were rescued by local divers. In a similar vein, tragedy struck on Thursday morning around the Shagamu axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway when a tanker explosion claimed the lives of 10 persons. The Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC Sector Commander in Ogun State, Ahmed Umar, while commenting on the incident, said that 2 fuel-laden tankers 2 trucks and 1 bus were involved in the explosion. He said that 3 of the vehicles were burnt in the inferno. 10 persons lost their lives while 2 escaped with injuries. The FRSC official said that the death toll may rise as recovery efforts is ongoing. He said while the cause of the incident remain unknown, eyewitnesses attributed it to overspeeding by one of the trucks who lost control to smash into the tanker. The Kwara State government and the opposition People's Democratic Party are trading blames over a failed portion of the 3.7 billion naira Geri Alimi underpass constructed by the last administration. While the state government blamed Shodi Job for the failed portion, the opposition party accused the government of deliberately refusing to maintain the road. The report.
The Geri Alimi Diamond Underpass was constructed and inaugurated by the last PDP administration. Barely 3.5 years, a portion of the road has collapsed. The current APC government blamed it on the cheap work done on the road.
Just one of those projects we inherited. It's a Kwara project. It's a project where public funds have been spent, but it's unfortunate that a poor job was done. The earthwork, as where they did the laterite, was poor quality laterite, has a lot of clay in it. And apart from that, we also have the stone base that was supposed to be done was again not done to, it's not adequate. Averagely, they were to use, as per the bill, supposed to be 10 cm stone base, but what they did there is just about 2 cm. And when I spoke with the director and the other engineers in the ministry, they were like, that's the reason why it wasn't approved.
The opposition People's Democratic Party described the allegations as reckless and malicious, especially with few months to election.
It is unfortunate that the government, just few months to election, is coming out with this kind of reckless allegation that a project that was duly completed and handed over 3 years back. Those 3 years, you didn't see anything. Now just coming that it was not properly done. It's not true. The project was properly executed and went through due process before it was approved. After it was done and completed, the National Society of Engineers from Abuja came to inspect the project and confirmed that it met the standard that was set up for it.
The government is now set to repair the failed portion to ease mobility on the road.
But yes, we've seen what is there now. We have to fix it. So you see all these things, and this is a trunk A1 road that will carry every trucks a minimum of 50 tons. But what they have put there can't even support up to 20 tons. So that's why we've seen it like that.
The Geri Alimi underpass was designed and constructed to ease the traffic gridlock around the axis and also ease movement into Ilorin metropolis.
The need for prudence in public finance management has again been stressed. Participants at the end of a 3-day workshop on the development of the Adamawa State Budget Manual have advocated for inclusiveness, accountability, transparency and effectiveness toward achieving the goals. Trust TV's Salihu Lawan reports that citizen engagement, gender, social inclusion and conflict sensitivity in the budget process also formed part of the discussions.
Lack of minimum inclusiveness, accountability, transparency and effectiveness in the implementation of budget have negatively affected developmental target of Nigerian states. Participants said the entire budget cycle, from the medium-term expenditure framework process to the annual budget preparation, review, approval, and execution, must be designed to ensure robust reforms that will directly improve service delivery to citizens.
Revenue that is guided by law, you cannot just tax somebody without a legislative backing that is behind that. So in view of that, there are complaints out there. People feel that the government is not going with them. So we find this forum like that to interact ourselves and at the end simplify the process so that we create friendly tax environment within us.
You cannot have a budget without a sustainability analysis. What we do at the DMO is to give the government, a go-ahead whether it is sustainable or not. And when you look at Adamawa State and its profile, you will find out that Adamawa is sustainable, highly sustainable. And that also is an input for the budget, because if you want to have a reliable budget, sustainable budget, you must have that sustainability.
They also suggested the reforms to focus on the income side of public finance, improving internally generated revenue with corresponding social impact and engaging relevant stakeholders.
Well, I want each and every person to come together on the same table and see how we have a reliable budget. We don't want a situation where a budget will be deficit. We want everybody, the citizens, we want the CSOs and also the government to come together and have a work plan for the people of the state. This budget is not just for the government, it's for the citizens. And we want everybody to come together with one voice, one accord, so that we'll have a better state.
The reverse is the case. We are involving citizens to come and understand where we are going. This is the little finances that we have on hand, and this is how we can move. We can invest. So this kind of manual will give us a package.
The consensus here is that need for improvement of fiscal transparency and accountability, as well as increased efficiency in public finance management, cannot be overemphasized. From Yola, Salihu Lawan, Trust TV News.
Local crafts have played vital roles in rejuvenating the economy of nations across the globe. Ancient professions such as dyeing, blacksmithing, goldsmithing, pottery have contributed greatly to the stabilization of the socio-economic well-being of those who practice it. These crafts and occupations are facing technological challenges which have caused many to go into extinction. In Katsina, Abdullahi Amadi takes a look at the state of local crafts and other occupations and what they contribute to the economy.
Though there are these local crafts and occupations still thriving in Katsina State, the value chain is being eroded gradually, and many end users of the finished products are opting for modernized variants. In the ancient city of Katsina, there were over 500 people engaged in the production of this local water storage and preservation facility using leather. As the trade is collapsing, this family of 15 people are the only ones engaged in the business throughout Katsina State, even as the business remains relevant and it pays.
Sana'ata wannan wadda ko gani ina yi yanzu sana'ar tandun mai.
To me, even as this business is facing challenges, I can tell you, if I have enough capital, only God knows the extent to which I can grow. The reason is simple. The market is growing, but we have very little for our customers. These finished products are sold between 3,000 to 10,000 naira per each, depending on the size, while it is being sold locally and beyond Nigeria's shores in Mali, Burkina Faso, Togo, Cameroon, and Chad. Another craft that is being practiced is this cold storage products made from leather. Again, just a handful of families are still involved in the craft in Katsina. The Entendu community was named after the art of making this product because in the past, every household engaged in the trade. You know the importance of keeping things inside leather is to ensure safety and quality. In fact, it preserves things. This is corn, and is a cosmetic preparation used by women to darken the edges of their eyelids. You are aware of its importance. Another important occupation which is all but extinct now is dyeing. The activity which once engaged thousands has been abundant in the last 20 to 25 years now. This place, popularly known as Marina, has now been converted to blacksmithing and fabrication factory. The place has grown before now. There were hundreds of dyeing pots placed all over this place. As you can see, hardly you could trace any dyeing place here, and most of them are in another businesses now. Another occupation which is suffering a monumental setback is tannery, which only the elderly among the population are practicing. Local crafts and other occupations are seriously collapsing, with many people within the value chain losing their jobs, a situation observers say requires urgent government attention. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Sumal Food has unveiled Kannywood actress Mariam Booth as the company's brand ambassador in Kano State. Signing the Memorandum of Understanding, Mariam Booth assured the company that she intends to promote the brand across all nooks and crannies of Nigeria. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
Cutting of cake herald the official signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between this popular Kannywood actress Mariam Booth, an official of Sumal Food in Kano. According to the official brand ambassador, Sumal Food has been her favorite since childhood, which makes it even more interesting for her as she set out to make a difference in marketing the product across the country.
So I'll try as much as possible, inshallah, maybe in schools, because all these things are coming memories in a lot of the and I'm very, very sure you're watching customers in the airline. I'm very, very sure. So, and I'm going to, with my own money, I'm going to get more of these products, inshallah, and distribute in the second phase, just to make sure that in every household in Allah, I play Sumal Food, inshallah.
For Sumal Food, the choice of Mariam Booth is indeed significant, given her popularity and experience in the world of entertainment, especially in Kannywood. The company believes that Mariam is in fact the right choice.
Our premium yet affordable products comes in different packages, so like Mariam's humility is accessible to everyone, especially the pocket-friendly chewing gum candy and breads. In the next few months, Mariam and Sumal Foods will use partnership to further bring to the good people of Kano and Nigeria.
In the next coming days, it is expected that the new official ambassador of Sumal Food, Mariam Booth, will commence a special program aimed at promoting the company's products. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
Let's now take some more on business updates as presented by Chamu Dabe.
The Central Bank of Nigeria says Nigeria's foreign reserves have fallen to $37.7 billion as of October 18, 2022. This is the year's lowest level that has been noted. The demand for foreign exchange is increasing on the country's unofficial black market, where the naira dropped as low as 745 naira to the dollar on Thursday. Due to the CBN's ongoing involvement in the official market to preserve the stability of the local currency, the country's foreign reserve has been on the decline. Due to flooding and oil theft, the present amount, which is below $38 billion, is the lowest seen this year and is certain to continue declining. Meanwhile, the Bank of America recently projected that the official exchange rate could likely be devalued to 520 naira to the dollar in 2023, as it is well above fair value. The federal government is set to invest 8.07 trillion naira in 5 government priority areas pending National Assembly approval. The sectors are infrastructure, social development and poverty reduction programs, education, health, and defense and security. The 20.5 trillion naira national budget was recently submitted to MPs by President Muhammadu Buhari. The largest vote was for the defense and security sector at 2.74 trillion naira. This sum covers both ongoing and one-time expenditures for the armed forces, law enforcement, intelligence, and parliamentary. Nigeria is dealing with significant insecurity issues that have severely hampered output and driven up the cost of agricultural goods nationwide. The government plans to spend 756 billion naira, representing 4% of the planned budget, or 1.58 trillion naira on the health sector. Only 5% or less than 1 trillion naira of the total budget is allocated for infrastructure development. Simply put, the federal government intends to use a small portion of the budget, which is 998.93 billion naira, through the Ministries of Works and Housing, Power, Transport, Water Resources and Aviation to provide the severely underdeveloped infrastructure that exists throughout Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari has fired the sole administrator of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Effiong Akwa. The president also disclosed the formation of a new management group and governing board for the NDDC in a statement released on Thursday by the Director of Press, Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, Patricia Deworishe. Recall that in December 2020, President Buhari appointed Akwa as the agency's director and fired Kemi Bradikumo Ponde as acting managing director of the NDDC. According to the statement, the names of the new management team and governing board will be submitted to the National Assembly for approval. Niger Delta stakeholders have urged the president to set up the commission's management and board.
Away from Nigeria, the election to replace outgoing UK Prime Minister Liz Truss as leader of the Conservative Party will take place on October 28th, a party official said on Thursday. Chairman of the influential 1922 Committee of the Backbench MPs, Graham Brady, disclosed this to reporters following Truss' announcement of her resignation. There have been calls for her to resign in the preceding weeks. In a brief announcement, the outgoing Prime Minister said she was leaving because she could not deliver on the mandate of ensuring low taxes and high growth economy. Let's now take a look at sports updates presented by Adeni Ajishafe.
National Council of Sport has confirmed the exclusion of 3 para-sport in the National Sports Festival, namely para-athletics, para-powerlifting and para-table tennis, will no longer feature in the National Sports Festival. The Para-Games held in April 2022 at MKO Abiola Stadium, where 21 states participated, signaled the beginning of special recognition for para-sports in Nigeria. This was confirmed at a virtual meeting on Wednesday, which included all the sports commissioners across the 36 states and the FCT. The Council approved the inclusion of cricket in the 21st National Sports Festival and demonstrations of netball, techball and mixed martial art. The inspection team from the Sports Ministry will be in Delta from 3rd to 5th of November to inspect facilities on ground. The 24th National Sports Festival will hold in Asaba, Delta State from 28th November to 10th December 2022. And in football, Nigeria's Super Falcons striker Asisat Oshoala on Wednesday was voted most valuable player in the match between Barcelona Femenino against Benfica Women. Former Robo Queens and River Angels player was the star of the game as she bagged the brace of assist for her club FC Barcelona in an emphatic 9-0 win. Her victory in the voting was confirmed by UEFA. The lanky attacker has scored 3 goals for the Catalan-based club in all competitions this season. The current African Women Footballer of the Year in the Spanish Iberdrola last season with 20 goals despite injury. That's Sport News. I am Adeni Ajishafe.
And that's a wrap on the news hour for tonight. You can watch more via all our social media platforms. Also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can watch us live. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.